Hey everyone, Voodoo here. So with the recent talent changes as of last week, Havoc Demon Hunter actually has a brand new BIS single target talent setup. In this video, I'll be giving you guys this information on the new talent setup, as well as some little tidbits and a little bit of rotations about it. So you're probably wondering what the new talent setup is, and that's fair. So for those of you who did not know, the recent talent changes are the change where serrated glaive now also increases chaos strike damage by 10 or 20% whenever you hit a target with a glaive, as well as the change to accelerated blade, used to be known as accelerating blade, where the primary target takes 60%, then secondary takes 30, and third takes 0. So those are the talent changes. They weren't very big, but they are enough to actually change up how Havoc is going to look in the next patch. Now, before we get into that, not a big change, not a big deal. It's things are still pretty small, it's still pretty minor. It is nice to have a little bonus, and the APL is pretty unrefined, so we might see even larger gains whenever we actually kind of figure out the APL and fix it to work in the best possible way. But for now, this is what we have. Also, before we finish the video, make sure you like, drop a comment down below, and hit the sub button as well. We're so close to 5,000 subs, hoping to hit that before Season 2. So if you like WoW content, hit that button, follow along. So without further ado, this is the new talent build. So I do not really have a name yet for this. We're just going to call it probably Serrated Glaive. So it's different from our regular single target build. It drops out Demonic Appetite, drops out Restless Hunter, and drops out 1 point in Blind Fury to pick up 2 points in Serrated Glaive and 1 point in Relentless Onslaught. Now this is actually really good. So Relentless Onslaught is a very powerful talent for us, especially in single target. And the fact that Serrated Glaive is actually just usable now, because before it was just a worse Blind Fury, makes it so that Relentless Onslaught is actually much better than it's actually able to get to it, right? This is actually a pretty big deal. The talent changes are like just fine for Serrated Glaive, but being able to pick up Relentless Onslaught, which is a very good single target talent, actually pretty good. Now we'll get to some sims in a second, some rotation and stuff, but as of right now, this build works out to be roughly 1,000 to 2,000 DPS over the regular build. It has less on-demand burst because we don't have Restless Hunter, so there is good that to keep in mind. Also a little bit less Fury, a little bit less survivability because Demonic Appetite is not being taken. If you need to take this, you can drop out Looks Can Kill to pick it up, but with how much damage and I-beams we're throwing out with our tier set, probably don't want that. So this is kind of able to happen because the tier set gives us Fury as well. There's a few things kind of working into letting this build exist, so it's pretty interesting in that regard. But with that out of the way, we'll get on to some sims. I'll show you what I'm talking about, and then we'll do a little bit of a rotational primer at the end. All right, so once more, this is the build. So just going over it again once here. 2 points Serrated Glaive, 1 point on Onslaught, 1 point Blind Fury. That's really the big difference from our raid single target build, which is this. So, important to keep in mind what the changes are. I wonder if I actually have it still copied here. I don't. But, so this is our normal one, and then to change over to the other one, we just like this, take these here, and come down and fill out the rest of the tree. So it's nothing too crazy, nothing too different, just little changes there. So that out of the way, here is the new sim. So this is our tier 30 Havoc with 2 points Serrated Glaive, Relentless Onslaught, and 1 point in Blind Fury. Equals to about 126,000 DPS. Again, BIS Sims and everything. You can see down here, Annihilation is a ton of our DPS, which makes sense with how much Annihilation we're doing, the buff from the Glaive and stuff. Death Sweep, I-Beam, still a lot of damage as well. Echo Flower, Trinkets, and all that. Throw Glaive itself does very pitiful damage. We only use it 13 times in the sim, and that's kind of the big thing. It's not fully optimized for Throw Glaive usage yet for the APL. Now down here, you'll see kind of the opener and stuff. Now I'm pretty certain, as are a few others, that if you throw Glaive here on pull, you actually will get it the whole thing for the entire duration of your I-Beam Annihilation, Essence Break, all that stuff, which is really good because you have 2 I-Beams and some Annihilations as well. So I think having the Throw Glaive buff up for the beginning with Lust is actually going to be very useful. I have a video of me doing it, which we'll talk about after. But you can see here, we actually don't use a lot of Throw Glaives. We use one at like 7 seconds in, which is a bit of a weird thing because we're kind of just using so much time between our last I-Beam and this I-Beam here. But it's mostly the same. You basically end up just using Throw Glaive whenever you don't have anything else to press. As well, you want to have Throw Glaive up for whenever you I-Beam. So that's basically it. There's some APL refinements. We're looking into maybe having it up for Essence Break because you get the 2 Annihilations that are buffed by the Essence Break. So we're looking there. We want to obviously have Throw Glaive for I-Beams. We're looking to see about overcapping and all that stuff. We're looking to see about if it's worth it to have it up on pull. So there's definitely some refinement to be made towards the APL to make this perform better. But as baseline, with this quick rough APL. This performs roughly 1 to 2,000 DPS higher. So this is our other one. So 124 100 is our kind of Restless Hunter sim, stuff like that. Now the thing with this is it does have higher on burst, because we do have obviously the double Restless Hunter, First Blood, yada yada yada. A little bit lower because our tier set now, we're losing out on the critical strike from Death Sweep, so there is that. But comparing it here, 126, 124, so it's roughly 2k higher with pretty poor optimization. Now, I will say, the I-beam stuff, sorry, the throw glaive stuff would be so much better if it was a 20-second debuff. So this is kind of like an imaginary sim here, where what would happen if we had 20-second debuff of throw glaive, and it's even more than this 127 sim, it's 129. That would be a very large increase. It'd be a very nice quality of life. I really would like that. 10 seconds is kind of just bad. It's kind of poor to really keep up. Feels kind of bad in my opinion, but since it doesn't interact with I-beam at all. But again, very early on in the APL, we're not really sure what's going to be the best way to play around with this yet. There's a sim somewhere, I'll probably throw an image up if I can find it, where having the debuff for your opener is better than not having it. So we know that's probably something we want to work in. We're pretty sure that 100% uptime with 10 seconds is not a gain. And then there's also stuff about kind of seeing if we need essence break, seeing if you want all the I-beams. There's some APL work to go on still, but this build is performing better than what we had previously. So that is a good thing. So we're going to go on to the PTR right now, take a look at some rotations, and finish off the video. So here we are on PTR. We'll do a quick little opener, quick little rotational talk, and then I want to show you the video I did of me hasted. I won't have Lust for this, which will change the math a little bit. With Lust, you could throw glaive on open and have the throw glaive for your entire opener, which I think will end up being a pretty big deal. But essentially, it's going to be pretty similar to how we are before. I'm using our BIS trinkets here of Pocket Anvil and Flowstone for a single target. So we'll do a little pull timer for myself. We'll do pull 10, and we'll just talk through what's happening. So pull 10 on 2 seconds again. We want to end up using Sigil of Flame like we do currently. 4, 3, 2, use it there. Immolation Aura as we enter combat. Spell Rush, use our Anvil. We want to throw a glaive out and hit an I-beam right away. Annihilation, do our little backflip, Essence Break, Death Sweep, meta, Death Sweep, Annihilation. And then at this point, it's a little weird. So the sim ends up doing Annihilation, Essence, Death Sweep, the Hunt, Throw Glaive, and then I-beam, which really ends up delaying it. I'm not sure how that will end up being in the end, like if that will end up being a gain or not. So we'll keep an eye on that one. But from here, you're basically just using Throw Glaive if you have nothing else, and using Throw Glaive before you end up using I-beam, and that's about it. So the rotation doesn't change that much. Obviously, like, things are a little weird. I just paused there for a second, but we don't really know kind of what will end up being better. So I have I-beam up here, so I'm going to throw glaive, I-beam, turn, essence break, not fall down the stairs, come back up, Death Sweep, Annihilation, Annihilation. And that's kind of just the thing. It's just a little plate to spin. We're not, again, APL still very early, so we'll see end up on like what changes are going to be better for us, like when we want to throw glaive more, is it better to do it in certain scenarios? So lots of stuff we're unsure about. If you look at this breakdown here, now Death Sweep should be higher than Annihilation because of just the large pause I took. But you're going to have your Annihilation being on top with then Death Sweep and I-beam coming behind it, and then basically just have like some trinket stuff in melee. So it's going to be mostly Annihilation, mostly Death Sweep, with your Throw Glaive kind of just being weaved in whenever you have nothing else to push, or right before your I-beam. So it's just a little bit of a buff like that. It's right now not doing better to be a maintenance buff, but we'll end up seeing what happens again. Things are still very early. So probably by the time I get to my Havoc guide, hopefully we have this all figured out and can determine what the best thing for us to do regarding this is. So very early, but you know, is what it is. So we're gonna head over and look at the video I did now with Lust to show that you can actually have the glaive up for the whole duration. It was hard to see there. I wasn't really looking at the dummy, but the glaive right now roughly after kind of my Essence Break combo. So we'll swap over there now, take a quick peek at it, and then end. Alright, so here it is here. Now I got my hunter buddy to lust me for this so we can see a bit of the thing. So we're doing a pull timer for 10 seconds. He doesn't have a pet out, so lust is a little delayed, but it doesn't really matter. We go in, we start off with our Sigil of Flame, Immolation Aura, Fel Rush. I used my trinket. I hunted at the wrong time, but then I threw up my glaive, and would see here, I'll pause. We see we have the debuff up there. So we had the debuff up during our I-beam. And if we watch here, it's going to remain up during the entire combo here. So for all the Essence Breaks, for all the Annihilations, and for all of the I-beams. That is really good. It ends up being a fair bit of damage. Now, again, we're not on any target dummy. This guy's at 1 HP already, right? So things are a little bit scuffed. But if we go back a little bit longer, and here, so I threw out the glaive right about here. So I have the 9 seconds there. We'll have it for the I-beam, turn, essence break, death sweep, meta, death sweep, annihilation, I-beam. So with Lust, we do have it up the whole time. So I do think that'll probably end up being something we want to do. Again, APL is not optimized for it yet. We'll have to end up seeing what happens. But that is just proof of concept showing it can work with Lust for the open. That is very important in my opinion. That is kind of it on the quick little build primer here about what's happening on PTR. So this will probably end up being a small gain, but a gain nonetheless for Havoc. The APL is very borked right now, so with APL improvements, we'll see this actually being much better than it currently is. As well, we just got to figure out when's the best times to use our throw glaives and stuff like that. So hopefully we do get more buffs, because this still doesn't save us. We're still kind of behind and everything, but you know, this does add a little bonus to us. Personally, I don't think it's that good. I do think we should up this 20 seconds, because right now we're just spinning plates. It's just another plate for us to spin on top of momentum, on top of all the other things Havoc has to do. We now have to do one more thing. So that's a little unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is. I will take any single target buffs at this point. Another thing to note is that this build is not very good outside of pure single target. If there's cleave and stuff, you probably don't want to end up using this. Probably end up better with the other options. But you know, it is there for the single target builds. Now, I'll drop the sim, I'll drop the build link, I'll drop all the stuff you need in the description. If you want to go on the PTR and test this out, maybe you're a big APL guy, can figure out some of the APL things. If you do, there's a theory crafting channel in the Havoc Discord. Make sure you go there, keep up to date with all the updates, and if you have anything important to add to the conversation, you're always welcome to post there. But for that is it for today's video. So if you enjoyed it, drop a like, comment down below what you think about this build. Are you excited? Are you not excited? Do you think we need more? Anything like that. And of course, if you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button. If you really enjoy it, become a channel member. There's a link in the description. It would help support me make better content, and you get cool perks on the side. So with that, see you guys later. Have a good Monday. Be back Wednesday with another video. Stream on Tuesday. Peace.